Your family is very important to you. They bring you so much joy, laughter, fun, smiles, and love. If an unfortunate event occurred in your family, are you certain that they will be financially covered? Stress no more. Call and receive your free consultation today. And let's protect your family together.
Beer is composed of 4 different things: your grain, your yeast, your hops, and your water. Craft beer has a 5th ingredient: love. 6 friends and myself decided to get in an RV and drive 3,200 miles up the Pacific coast to try some of the best craft beer on the West Coast. We swing by some quirky locations and some awesome breweries, from Man Rock to getting my first tattoo to picking up videos at the last Blockbuster and stopping by Portland to sign my cousin's name on a list of Black lives lost due to police brutality. With so much going on in the world, from social unrest to COVID and economic instability to uncertainty, seeing a community, a culture, world created by the idea of craft beer truly brings me to the feeling that I'm able to see myself in each one of the people that I meet, and that we're all gonna make it together. Fact is, craft beer is a growing industry, and it's completely connecting people in ways that have never been seen before. And it's also connecting my understanding to where we have to go next in this world. My name is Pellerin, and the one thing I've learned is that all I have for this life is love. Come join me on this beer run and experience an epic adventure and some amazing craft beer.
How my journey began. It's graduation time. Family is very important to me, including my puppies. The Marine Corps played a huge role in my life and allowed me to be ambitious, inspiring, a mentor, and achieve all of my goals. As a financial expert, I've received multiple awards, done various events as a guest speaker all over the U.S. with my platform of creating healthy financial habits, along with having my own business, all leading up to my show. Come along for the journey.
Hello, Gems, and welcome. For the month of August, I will be highlighting different business owners and individuals in the beer, wine, and spirits industry. You're definitely going to want to be part of their journey and connect with them. Here are a few statistics on the beer industry. The global beer market was valued at over $593 million in the year 2017 and is projected to reach over $685 million by the year 2025. The age group of craft beer drinkers most likely to drink craft beer weekly in the United States were people ages 35 to 44. The most popular beers in America are number 1, Guinness at a rating of 51%. Coming in at number 2 is Heineken with a rating of 49.3, a little bit over 49%. And rounding off number 3 is Corona Extra with a rating of 49%. So they're gunning for that number 2 spot, not too far behind. In 2020, the most popular beer in the world was Heineken. Touche, everyone loves their Heineken. So, Gems, we have 2 guests today. Our first guest was born in Fort Hood, Texas, in Killian. He's a Navy veteran and completed 6 honorable years as an information systems tech. His favorite beer to drink is double IPAs. When asked, how would you describe yourself in 3 words? His 3 words were vibrant, caring, and tenacious. He currently resides in North Hollywood, California. Our second guest was born in the Bronx, BX, throw it up, give out some love, there you go, New York. He is a Marine veteran and completed 8 honorable years as an AAV crewman, food service and mortuary affairs specialist. Give it up to PRP. His favorite beer to drink is any milk stout beer. 3 words he would use to describe himself are number 1, stoic, 3, relax, And two, relax. I haven't been drinking yet. And the last one would be determined. He currently resides in Los Angeles, California. Jim's, let's welcome Jai, the host of Beer Run the Show, Pellerin, and Arthur Hinson, the producer of the show. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
Doing awesome. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, we got a lot of ground to cover. Thank you. I'm doing well. It's super hot here in Delaware. So like I said, I've been sweating, but overall I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking.
Definitely.
Thank you. So we got a lot of ground to cover. So let's go ahead and get started. So Arthur, where did the two of you meet and how did you start to collaborate on this specific project?
It was about 5.5 years ago. We met at CCH. He was getting his bachelor's, I was getting associates in film and producing, and it was we was in class about 8 weeks. Neither one of us sitting right next to each other, just like this.
About this far.
Until one day the teacher asked, does anybody have anything outside of schoolwork that they're trying to work on? So I got up and said, hey, I have a show called Beer Run. All I'm looking for right now is a host. And he said, hey, I'll host. I said, good, you're the host now. And I sat back down. And that's the story.
And that's the story, literally. That's how it all gets started. I love it. And so Jai explained to us how difficult it was to get accepted into the AFI Film Institute and why you chose the film industry overall. Before you met, there was a little bit more stuff going on.
Yeah. Well, AFI is considered the #1 film school in the U.S. It's one of the top 3 film schools in the world. It's only a master's program, and the curriculum is based around filmmaking on a studio level. So how does a studio function and operate? They only accept 28 students a year for the producing program. I think we had, it was about 680 applicants.
Wow.
So managed to beat out about 666 applicants to go ahead and get one of the spots. And that worked. And it was a 2-year program. It was incredibly grueling. And how that worked, I think for me getting in had to do with Columbia College Hollywood, which one of my instructors there was one of the mentors at AFI. So that was kind of an inside path that I didn't know I had, but I told her I had interest, and when I applied, it came through. And then she informed me during my thesis film. She was like, "You better get your shit together," and because I'm the one who put my name out there for you. I was like, right. Thank you. I now know how I got in. So that's
that makes sense. I always like for my gyms to know the background that this, again, there are some shows that kind of start on the couch with no background, but you guys actually have a film and degrees in the actual industry. So what they're going to be seeing is actually people who have the actual techniques and the knowledge to really put together a well refined show. So absolutely love that. So what is the concept of the show? Let's do it. Tell us about that.
Beer Run.
Yes.
A taste of craft and culture. Basically, I was absolutely obsessed with Anthony Bourdain. I was like, if there's one job I can do, I want to do that job. And with our partnership and letting our powers combine with me and Arthur, we pretty much did that with Anthony Bourdain style show with craft beer being the vehicle. So we talk about small business. We talk about social injustice. We talk about the issues with COVID, entrepreneurship. We talk about the forest fires here on the West Coast. Meanwhile, we do this entire discussion while we're in an RV with 7 friends, and we drive up and stop at breweries in different quirky locations, like the Museum of Illegal Images, or swinging by Poulsbo, Washington, which is considered Little Norway.
Right.
We got dressed up in Carnation, Washington, at Camlin, which is perpetually in 1376 England, and we had some nice mead there. And
definitely
bringing it all together. Yeah.
Yeah, bringing it all together, the different cultures, different experiences, and having more of a friendship type of feel of the show while enjoying the beer of the choice for that different, the segment that people will be watching. So how did the both of you raise the money to get started on the project?
Well, fortunately, I had created the company New Dimensions about 7-8 years ago. Once I finished up my acting program, because a bunch of actors were like, hey, we should create our own content.
Right.
Maintained the LLC for productions, and anything we do is a New Dimensions joint. And then pretty much under that, we qualified for the PPP based off of other projects we did and employees we had. And we were able to take a good percentage of the PPP to hire more employees and shoot the show the way we wanted to shoot it. It worked out. It was fantastic. And now we're in that selling stage of the show.
Absolutely. So I know, Arthur, when you and I sat down, we kind of hammered out a lot of the funding and a lot of the numbers for it. So I know you reached out to family and friends. So the self-funded cost, give us the quick breakdown of like the production, you had the teamifying the project, and the overall amount of money that kind of went into that.
The total cost of the shoot was $250,000.
Right.
$250,000.
For 10 episodes.
10 episodes.
10 episodes at $250,000.
For the total. And that included
RV,
transportation,
everything,
equipment,
food,
crew.
Yeah, the whole shebang. It covers everything.
We didn't pay for one beer though.
Yeah. There you go.
That was one goal we set out before we left, is to make sure that every spot we went to, we made sure that we did not pay for beer. And then on top of that, we didn't pay for food either, except maybe at 1 or 2 spots.
Nice.
We didn't pay for food either. Everybody was very welcoming and had their arms open, ready for us to come in and showcase what they do.
And then for as far as the crew, we brought teams together. So for AFI, I brought my cinematographer on, Joel Schaefer, who came through, and he also shot my thesis. We had our sound guy, Marcos. He worked with both sides of the team separately, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then
then I brought on the directors and the writers, Marvin Reed and Lydell Jackson. I knew them from back in Virginia, so we've been friends for probably about going on 10 years now, a little bit over 10 years.
And then we had a driver, was a friend of ours, so he just drove the whole way while everyone else
slept and drank.
Right. And I know we had talked about it before, but the kind of sort of like, what was their pay, or how were you able to kind of help fund it for them? Because there's a lot of positions that went into the production.
Yeah, a lot of them already had their preset rates.
Okay.
We worked with them off of that to try to get it as close to scale. Scale being what industry standards are.
Okay.
Outside of that, because we're all close, we did negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it's a 21-day trip with the boys, so they were all willing to work with us as we were willing to work with them. And
it was relatively smooth sailing. Everybody was on board with it from the get-go, because everybody loved the idea, and it was just a real strong collaborative effort on everybody's behalf. You can't say, the team was great. Can't say much more about the team. The team was amazing.
That's awesome. I think finding a good team to kind of help along with your vision is definitely key.
That's one of the key things.
Definitely. And I know we had talked about before reaching out to your friends and your family for the funding. So definitely be getting the support of other people, because this is in the pilot stage and there is no show yet. This is the pilot stage, and definitely getting people on board with that is so crucial and very, very important. So kudos to you guys for being able to raise that amount of money. I've talked to a lot of people when it comes to raising so far. You guys have raised the most to fund your project. So I always like to tell my gyms, when there's a will, there's a way. Open your mouth and ask and see, and put it out in the universe, and it will come. So definitely love that. So I want to go to the actual trip. You said 21 days. So how did you decide where you wanted to shoot your first episodes? You know, I know you went from California all up to Washington, but let's say, like, why not from California to Arizona and going that way? What made you guys decide to just go up north from where you were at?
It was mainly, it was the easiest route to go.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. It was the easiest route to go. Two, the fact that we were able to establish connections with breweries, all the way up, you know, so it just worked out. It just worked out that way.
Yeah. Also, you know, the fires are on the West Coast, you know, so that was another thing so we literally merged where we can land as far as breweries and locations met with our route, because there were certain routes we weren't able to take because of the forest fires.
Right.
You know, so we had to figure out how we're going to traverse through all of that and make sure that we accomplish what we wanted to do. But we were cleared to shoot everywhere we went to shoot. I think the only spot that we weren't cleared off the top was when we did a surprise drop in and got tattoos.
Yeah.
And you got tattoos. Wait a minute. So this was you went to the brewery and then you got, beer run tattoos. That's so cool. That is so cool. You're like,
oh, it's legit.
Yeah.
legit, the brand. That is number one. I haven't seen that. That is super, super cool. That right there is passion.
Beach was the one that drew all of these.
You said you picked the one way?
I said Beach was the one that drew all the.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one that I saw that Beecham did.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Beecham is another friend of ours. He does logos and everything, and he happened to do one of their logos, and that's how I saw them and reached out to them. So if you guys are wondering who Beecham is, that's who that is. And another thing too that I want the gyms to know, that you guys all did this during COVID, correct? At least a portion of it during COVID. Was that correct?
Yeah.
So definitely
the whole thing was shot during COVID.
Which was a difficult.
Yeah.
It was difficult because clearance, which is also what, as far as a film crew, we can only enter locations with 6 people anyway, whether you're eating there or shooting.
Yeah.
So we had to make sure we had strong individuals that can handle everything by themselves.
Yes.
And knock that out. And then with all the businesses, they were very accommodating.
Very.
You know, because they knew they're going through the same thing everyone else is going through.
Right.
You know, we had one spot when we pulled into Eugene, Oregon, and it's called Gratitude Brewing, and they were only open for 2 months, and then COVID hit. So you can imagine the amount of overhead for the equipment in a brewery, plus a full kitchen, and then they had to release all their staff but 3 people, and they literally opened the doors for us, and it felt so sad walking in. But by the end of our time with them, we were all dancing. So
they opened up. But that's the thing. Most of the breweries we go to, the locations we hit, in the initial beginning, everybody is, I guess, trying to feel out exactly what we're trying to do and what we're trying to film and trying to capture. Mm-hmm. So everybody's a little bit more tense and a little bit more uptight. But as the progression, as the filming goes, as he asks his questions, and gets to know them a little bit better, everybody starts opening it up, and the next thing you know, the beer starts flowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is great because those people haven't had that kind of interaction with anybody, especially during all last year with COVID and everything. People didn't really have that interaction one-on-one. So just coming in and being able to just give them a moment of just having a good time.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
good energy, just good vibes.
It was amazing.
That's what I loved about Man Rock. Man Rock was the first brewery we hit on the trip. And it's a mom and pop brewery. Their oldest son was fighting fires on the land of his great grandfather. Yeah, that had founded the land here in California. And just by the end of there, it's just the hugs were organic and authentic. And the laughter was organic and authentic. And it was just like, man, at the end of the day, it's like, wow, this is the work I want to be doing in this world.
Yeah,
definitely. I like it because, people know that you're coming. You've already told them the idea, but it's just so different when you sit down and like you said, you finally just are like, you know what, we're gonna have a good time. Yeah. And you get through those first few questions and then you just let loose. Beer helps. And then never hurt anything.
Doesn't hurt at all.
Never hurt at all. And that definitely always helps. So kudos for that. For one, bringing that friendship to people that you don't know, and then getting them. I always say we always need to disconnect sometimes from all the stresses that we're in, and being able to, even if it's just 30 minutes or 20 minutes, just being able to take a step back, refresh, breathe before you jump back into, like you said, at that time it was COVID, it was fires, it's so much. So you gave them more than just that dialogue. You gave them friendship and a little bit of just peace of mind. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So tell us about who you meet along the way and some of the interesting facts. You told us about the medieval one, but tell us about the Slippery Pig Brewery. You guys met a lot of things along the way.
Yeah. So Slippery Pig is in Poulsbo. The head brewer, he wears a kilt. It was quite nice. And just to hear these stories, it's him and his wife run the brewery. They're a fixture in Poulsbo. They're right on the main strip, right next to the pier. And just so super accommodating and kind people. They were completely open to show us everything they do. And I think the biggest thing with that is this is their careers. This is their life, their passions. So the fact that some random individuals from a different city across the country just drove up just to try them, they were super supportive of everything we were doing. I think the most off the wall situation was the Museum of Illegal Images.
Yes.
The guy who is the curator of that museum is 93 years old. The whole entire museum are pictures of LSD tabs. Yeah. Like every picture in the entire place are LSD tabs. And he got arrested. He told me his life story about that. He got 2 life sentences on it, but because he had better pictures and documentation of the LSD, it was considered historical documents. So he had better images than the DEA. And got off on that. And we had this whole conversation on the couch in there, and a couple of beers and just kicking it. And at the end, he thanked Arthur for just letting him talk.
Yeah.
He's
like, nobody lets me talk. They just come in 5 minutes, get a couple of shots and leave. And we were in there for about 2.5 hours, about 3 hours.
3 hours.
Just letting him tell
his story.
Sitting on the couch. Let him tell his story. Let him get everything out that he wants to get out, that he hasn't been able to get out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just being attentive to what he's saying and listening.
Yeah.
It was a great moment for him. And he also actually sent me a poster of himself as one of those LSD 3D kind of photos. With a black light. You put a black light on it,
and all the faces start popping out and looking at you. It's just like,
yeah, it's pretty cool. I keep saying I'm gonna get that thing blown up into an actual a big old poster. I just haven't done it yet, but yeah, I'm eventually gonna do that.
I like that, and you hit on a few things. Allowing people to tell their story, allowing them to have a voice when sometimes other people hadn't allowed them to kind of speak and tell their truth. So that's definitely meaningful. That you didn't just come in. It wasn't just a quick, hey, 3 minutes, 10 minutes out. You almost spent about 3 hours with them, and that is definitely super, super cool. So, Jai, you had an unfortunate event that took place in your family. And how were you able to kind of bridge that platform and bring awareness to that circumstances and everything surrounding it? Tell us a little bit about the event and how all of that happened.
So this happened in August, and it happened August 24th, 25th. We ended up shooting 3 weeks later. We hit the road for the 21 days. My younger cousin he was 31, and he was shot and killed in Lafayette, Louisiana, by police officers. He got 11 shots in his side and in his back. They found out there were 3 police officers that fired their weapons, and according to the court, they said they were justified in doing so. all this was caught in camera. Went down to Lafayette to support my family for the funeral as well. Spoke at the funeral with Al Sharpton, and just to, the whole point is pointless. Like this shouldn't be a thing that we have to go through.
Right.
You know, just I understand being a cop is a hard job, just like being a military member is a hard job. But if you fire a bullet in the line of duty, you get judged on that when you're not supposed to do that. Period. You know, and I spoke there to the governor of or the mayor of the town and let them know that, who was also prior military. And there's nothing that's going to replace that life. But I took that as a motivating call to step up and speak. Out of my family, I love my family to death, but I am definitely the most well-spoken of the group in South Louisiana. But I spoke for the family, and I just being present, like that was the biggest thing. Meanwhile, we managed to stop by Portland, where I signed his name on the list of Black Lives Lost in Portland, Oregon, and kind of give a tribute to not only the Black Lives Matter movement, but just the awareness to the fact that we're all human beings and we're all American citizens and we're all here and we're doing what we can to move forward in this world the best we can. The last thing we need is to be stifling each other, you know, whether it's government and civilians or any other form of that. And while we were in Portland, we had some beers in the basement with 2 PhD neuroscience women and a community organizer who was building respirators and shields for people who were standing against the cops who were beating them in the middle of the street. Even one of the girls, she's smaller than me. She got beat in the streets by the cops and came back. I'm like, she's one of the ones that was getting a PhD.
She got a concussion.
She got a concussion from that, you know. But it's like, okay, how do we mitigate this? You know, obviously the whole point of the marching and standing is speaking in truth. That's a right, you know, it's part of our constitutional rights. So why are they being knocked down? Is really what I wanted to highlight in that episode of Portland. That we all deserve the right to be alive and to be here and to do what we want to do and chase our dreams and find our own futures and have kids and do families and do the whole life thing. We deserve that without being, you know, judged at the time you get out your car or when you're with your kids or because you're walking down the street with a plastic bag or because you just happen to be on your, you know, you're getting choked out with a knee on your neck. You know what I'm saying? So these are all the things we wanted to make sure that were included in this storytelling of our human history right now. And that's
absolutely. Yeah.
No, and then that's one of the things that I definitely wanted to make sure that we hit on is, you know, when you're giving a voice to people, not only people who haven't had their story told, but to people who were judged. We're talking about people who were murdered. We're talking about the protesters who had concussions. People are on the front line for sharing their voice and being penalized and being murdered for it. So definitely bringing light to that. I definitely kudos to the both of you for adding that into your platform, because a lot of people kind of shy away from the political realm or just say, hey, yeah, over there. But to actually have that involvement was really, really good and really key. So after shooting your first session, how did you find an entertainment lawyer to represent you and your show? Because it's definitely a good journey as well.
Okay, so
before that, it's key to know the only way you can sell a show is you need an agent, a manager, or a lawyer.
There we go.
We don't have an agent or a manager, and most producers won't until you're an established producer doing Marvel, which is going to then get you jobs that you don't have to worry about because you already have a name.
Yeah.
Right.
Meanwhile,
so what we have to do is we got to hustle. So I took probably about a week, maybe a week and a half, to just go ahead and just blitz LinkedIn. And I reached out to anybody who had entertainment lawyer within their repertoire of jobs or their title or whatever. And got lucky enough to connect with a lawyer who was able to start facilitating some things for us. And now we are right now we are under contract with Mandalay Entertainment to go ahead and actually get the show sold to a network.
Yeah. And if anyone doesn't know Mandalay, they did the Michael Jordan, The Last Dance on Netflix and got an Emmy for it.
And they're working on a Derek Jeter one of the same style for the next year.
Yeah, with Spike Lee directing.
Yeah.
So we got super excited with that opportunity. And that all came through the legal routes of getting everything done. But, even with a stacked plate, a good sized sandwich, you still need to sell it. It's on them, it's on us, it's on everybody in that room that's having that meeting, that's getting a paycheck, to get out there and get the work done.
Yeah.
Right. So I just wanted to let the gems know. I know, Arthur, you hit on it, but he put together a trailer. He said he put together a blitz, but I didn't know if a lot of people knew what the blitz was. It was actually a trailer, just like you would see before any previews, before when we used to sit down in the movie theater. He put together that and he sent it out to at least 30 to 40 different lawyers in the entertainment business on LinkedIn, and got a few hits before they were able to find this one. So you got to put the hard work in. It's not going to be the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 30 to 40. But you got to put in and weed them out. And trust and believe, I know how that feels, because some people don't respond to you. Some people act like they didn't even get it. Some people are just, they just, blow you off and do that. So
we had 3 lawyers connect to us. One of the lawyers they were just asking for way too much.
Right.
And we didn't feel comfortable working with them. Another one who was very honest with us, and we loved him for it.
He said, "I don't have enough experience."
Yeah, but he's still willing to come on board and help us in any way he can at some point down the line.
Yeah.
Which is great. You always want to have that connection with somebody, especially when it comes to lawyers and stuff like that. You always want to have a lawyer in your back pocket.
Yes.
Always, especially in this business.
Yes.
And the third lawyer that we finally locked in with and connected with, he's the one that, like I said, he brought Mandalay to us, and he's completely on board with what we're doing, as well as all the other projects we have lined up. That he's more than willing to help us get to the level that we need to get to.
Yeah, he wants to stick with us long term.
Long term.
And it's great when you're creating stuff and you go out into the world and you see people who aren't creating, but they know they're an asset for you. Mm-hmm. And they can identify that before you even speak. That's fantastic.
I love it.
All from LinkedIn.
I tell people, don't discount LinkedIn as a viable social media source. So I know this is a show about beer. So there's definitely a lot of beer drinking and socializing. So how do you maintain your health, and what is your message to the public concerning drinking?
Well, I guess that's going to be on me. Being the host, I'm not gonna lie to you. I drank a lot of beer.
Yes.
We had about 13 to 18 beers throughout a shooting day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you got reshoots, you need to recatch another angle, you need to do something else. We got to get a pour. We got to go ahead and hand that off. And then I had the smart idea, I don't know why I had this, to finish every beer on screen. But I did. Meanwhile, on the maintaining of health, we never drink to get drunk.
There you go.
The whole thing we're doing is drinking because we're at breweries. We're at different locations. The beer is the vehicle to talk to people about things. So it's supposed to lighten the energy, but still give the opportunity to go forward. But there's no way I can be a host and slur throughout an entire delivery on the show. Like it's not going to work. Meanwhile, the drinking age is the drinking age. You want to drink when you're younger, go to a different country. But even on the ship in the Navy, the moment we went into international waters, anyone who was 18 and up can have a beer.
Right.
And at the same time, if you're able to put your life for the country, you should definitely be able to have a beer.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like least case scenario, but the thing is information and being informed. The reason we chose craft beer uses heartier ingredients. Think of eating a McDonald's burger next to eating a craft burger from your favorite
from Morton Steakhouse.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the difference between a burger from McDonald's and having a Buffalo Burger from
Yes, there is.
Morton's. Yeah, Morton's fine. Yeah, Morton's. So, and that's what it is with the craft beer. So it is heartier, and sometimes, higher percentage rate for ABV, which is alcohol percentage in it, will affect you. I'm human.
Yes.
But I do have a very high, more than most. I attribute that to my ABVs.
And I drink stouts, which are always going to be 9% or above. So
yeah,
my
but he doesn't drink that much. He'll drink when he wants to.
But I need
Good.
to.
Yes. So definitely you hit on a lot of stuff. Definitely wanted to let Jim know, hey, they have a DD or a designated driver. So they're not driving to themselves. So when he said that was part of the crew, they have a driver that's part of the crew. So that allows for Jai to do all of these scenes and then not have to go get behind the wheel. So seeing all this, I just want to let everybody know they're using all safety measures and they're definitely abiding by the law. So one of our last questions, what makes your show unique? How do you feel like you stand out from all the other shows that are popping
up? I'll say two main things. First, there are no people of color doing this. There are no people of color doing
a beer show,
craft beer show. Also, everyone who is doing craft beer, aside from being a person of color, doesn't have my mustache. And they're also not my physique, which, I mean, like, I'm pretty, I'm a solid 165.
You're lean. Yes, lean.
Yes, there we go. We'll go with that. And that it works for TV. Right. But the key thing is what we talk about. We're really getting into the roots of storytelling. We're telling people who would never be in these environments about people who are just like them in these environments. There's a connection in all of this. And the thing that gets us always to come together as people is storytelling. It's that was the first art form in villages. People would go around the fire and tell stories. And the fact that we're able to do that over a beer is just the best thing in the world for us.
And I like the highlight as well. Every brewery we went to, we would always take a beer from one brewery and bring it to the next brewery. So we're also sharing
their journey
as well with them. So that was also another highlighted thing that we did on the show. That pretty much is unique for us and unique to the industry.
That's like that because you're bringing communities, cultures, peoples, visions, journeys all together. I like that. Taking the one beer from the last brewery and bringing it to the next one kind of sort of as a gift. Oh, I love that. Yep. Everyone loves gifts. Everyone love it. I love it. So Arthur and Jai, thank you so much for sharing your experience and your journey today.
Yep.
Oh, of course. Not a problem.
Yep. So definitely check it out. Beer Run the Show. You can find us on Instagram. You can check out the website. The show should be airing here, fingers crossed, by the end of the year. We still got a little more work to go, and but ultimately we plan on having at least 10 seasons of this.
Yeah.
Awesome. So. Cool. Well, Gems, it's time for your financial gems. Your financial gems for today are number one, make money. Don't let it make you. That's a little nod to the Players Club. So control how you spend and or save money, not the objects or the things that you desire. Number two, save 1/3 of what you make and or generate. Number three, save when you can. Don't stress about trying to save money. If you truly don't have the extra savings at this money, you can always play catch up later. I've always seen a lot of my clients fall off because they panic because they can't do it this pay period. Well, jump back on the horse next pay period. It's okay. Save when you can. Number four, be patient when spending your money. We always see the full picture of expenses with time. Give yourself time to see the whole entire picture as it continues to evolve. And number five, partner with someone who shares the same purpose and passion for your ideas and build an empire together as boom, 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 you saw these two do. So it is our show custom to have every guest provide our gems with an inspirational quote. So Jai, what is your joint inspirational quote that you would like to share with our gems today?
Every decision leads to an action, and every action leads to your future. So make smart decisions.
I love it. Make smart decisions. I love it. I love it. I love it. Again, Shai, Arthur, thank you for being a guest on our show today and being part of our journey.
Thank you.
All right, Jims. Love it. Jims, creating healthy financial habits is a lifelong commitment. Remember, without change, there be no butterflies. Changing habits, changing lives, and changing futures are all up to you. Till next time, Jims. Take care.